Thank you very much for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. I want to look ahead to the hurricane season and the water temperatures. Yesterday we focused on La Nina. Now I want to look ahead to the upcoming hurricane season with the unusually warm water. But I want to keep it all in perspective. I don't want to put any fear out there, but I always like to let you know what I'm seeing. I'm not going to ever hold anything back from you. So we're going to dive a little bit into the hurricane season, but it doesn't start for a few months. I do believe it's going to be active, but I don't know where a storm's going to go yet. So let me just get to the water temps. Now, the temps as of now, they're running above average. Of course, things have cooled down. We're at the tail end of winter, but everything out there, even as of now, even though we've cooled because of winter, they are running above average. We get a look at the Atlantic waters and you see it here. This red or orange shading you're seeing here, even some of the yellows, that means the temperatures are running above average. That's almost the entire Atlantic basin, especially where hurricanes develop, Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean, and out through the heart of the Atlantic, the kind of convergence zone where we see a lot of storms bubbling up off the coast of Africa. So that's not a good thing. I tell you what's good and what's not good. It's not good that the water temperatures are so warm, but that's just one of so many ingredients in the hurricane season, but it's an important one. So again, above average temperatures. So we have that. We see that in the Atlantic basin. Now this here, right here, you see that blue right there? Here's North America, Central America through here, South America. So here's North America. Right through here in the Eastern Pacific, there's some blue there. We've seen some cooling. Temperatures are actually now running below average there. And I bring that up because that's a sign of La Nina. La Nina, typically when we have a La Nina pattern, there's a lot of ways to kind of define it and break it down around the world. But typically when we have a La Nina period, which is signified by some cooling water and cool water in this area, that usually means there are more hurricanes. But again, doesn't mean one is going to slam into us. So, but that's also not a good thing. So unusually warm water where our systems form, plus La Nina on top of that. And again, I really broke down La Nina in yesterday's video. So if you want to go back and take a look at that, just to tie everything in. Now, this is a look ahead. This is a forecast, and this is way out in time. This is August, September, and October. Now, it's hard to forecast just a few days out in advance, yet a few months out in advance, but this is kind of a different type of forecast. We can get a feel of some stuff, kind of less specific stuff as we go out in time. So heart of the hurricane season, August, September, and October. And once again, you see that orange shading. That's telling me we are going to have especially where the dark orange is, in the Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, and the Atlantic, well above average water temperature. So again, La Nina, warm water now, and very warm water for hurricanes to feed on. But another ingredient that I look at is not just the warm water temperatures. Every summer the water's warm enough for hurricanes to develop. Of course, if it's extra warm, that's not good. But also the heat content is very important. Well, what the heck is that? The heat content is how deep does that warm water go? Because when you think about it, as a hurricane passes over the water, it churns it up. And if there's cold water down below, that colder water will quickly come up, and it may actually help weaken the storm. But if there's warm water all the way down, well deep into the ocean, and that warm water comes up, the hurricane could just keep feeding off of that. So the depth of the warm water is important, and that's something I'll put on the back burner. I'll keep an eye on that as we get into the hurricane season. Another not so good ingredient is the amount of moisture out there. This is another long-term projection, and I did touch upon this in yesterday's video. You see this green shading here. This is the August moisture. Usually in August, we have moisture in a lot of these areas, rain. A lot of us are in the rainy season that time of year. With that said, this is going to be above average. Where we have this green here, that means above average moisture in August. And again, these forecasts are pretty good. You can get a handle on things like this a few months out. Of course, we can't get a handle specifically on day-to-day stuff or where storms may go. But we have La Nina, very warm water, and lots of available moisture by the time we get into August. So yeah, that stuff's not good. But we could have a million storms out there. If they all curve out to sea, that would be a good thing. Although some of us need to get some rain. Hopefully we get a few weaker systems nearby. But if they, of course, come into our direction, that would be a big problem. It is going to be an active season. Doesn't mean we're going to get something. We just need to take it storm by storm, because as we get out into August, I need to see where this area of high pressure is, kind of the steering flow and things like that. Many other ingredients, the Saharan dust, how significant La Nina is. There's a zillion ingredients I watch out for. So just kind of putting that into perspective. And let's put this on the back burner, but I do like to give you the info from what I'm seeing. All right, let's get a look. Here's Cuba, my friends in Jamaica. As we go through the afternoon, we're still watching that system out there spinning. A couple spotty showers. I'll dive into the Caribbean in a second, and to show you what's next, as we work our way into tomorrow or Thursday, you see some of the snow over toward the Rocky Mountains, getting clocked with some big-time snow with another system over toward Colorado. And here comes a front that will approach the East Coast, but this time of year, the front's really staying up toward the U.S., so not giving us a good chance of rain across the Caribbean. By the time we get into Friday, some of that rain along the east coast of the U.S. and still some spotty showers. I want to show you the wave heights in just a second. We're going to see the winds kicking up as we go over the next 2 days. Already have for some of us. And then by the time we get into Saturday, yet again, another system for the Atlantic region of Canada. Another system will be spinning in as we work our way into Saturday. So here's the closer look. Then I want to get into the Atlantic region of Canada and get a look at the wave heights. We'll do that in a second. See the tail end of a front as we go through our afternoon today. Again, a slight chance of a shower. Guadeloupe, we may get one. Barbados, very hit or miss. And even if you have the rain chance, like yesterday's rain chance I had in Trinidad was 30%. That's a very low chance, and it would be, if you got it, it would have been a sprinkle. And that's kind of what we're dealing with. 20-30% chance. But just that's very minimal as we work our way into tomorrow, working our way into Friday. You see that small chance of a shower, but there's a couple. There'll be a few around, so we'll just be tracking that for you. And then Costa Rica and Panama, as expected, the rain chance will bump up, may get a stray shower on our Friday afternoon as we get over toward Jamaica. Now, here are the wave heights on the bigger picture. Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean, we get into the Atlantic. We've had these systems moving in, of course, very dangerous seas. North Atlantic, this is through the day today. By the time we get into tomorrow or Thursday, here's the scale in meters, here's the scale in feet to keep everyone covered. Now, look at this in the Caribbean. Things are going to bump up a little bit, 2 to almost 4 meters, especially central and western Caribbean. So we have a stronger winds out of the east. And even as we get over to the Bay of Campeche in the western Gulf, things are going to get a little bit bumpier. This is as we get into Friday. So we are looking at some spots about 2 to 4 meters or upwards of 7, 8, 9 feet in some locations. And of course, the North Atlantic staying a mess with one system after another, which is common for this time of year. Atlantic region of Canada, we've had these spinners move by. Now, this time of year, including New England and the Mid-Atlantic, in between systems, you get a little warm-up. So, I mean, we're about to get into a spring, not a huge warm-up, but we are getting different temperature differences now, if that makes sense. So that system trying to spin away, and then watching this next one into tomorrow, see some of the rain moving into the Great Lakes, and then pushing off toward the Mid-Atlantic and New England. A little bit of snow on the back end of this, trying to squeak in to parts of Maine over toward Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. We may get a mix. This is as we get into our Friday afternoon. And then yet again, this system will kind of crank its way off the coast. Again, could be another pretty decent wind maker, and then wrapping in some colder air and some snow for some of us by the time we get into our Saturday forecast. So as we go throughout the day, again, rain chance about 20%. Next couple days in Jamaica, we're looking at a 10 to 20% chance in the Cayman Islands. And as I was mentioning earlier, that means we're looking at about an 80-90% chance of it just staying dry. Trinidad, rain chance stays so minimal. And not only are we dry this time of year, but boy, we are hot in many spots. Could see a few more passing showers in Barbados, even St. Lucia as we swing through our afternoon, even a couple as we get into the evening. Rain chance holding at 20% in Grenada and holding at 20% in St. Vincent the Grenadines. 30% chance in Martinique. It's that easterly flow that may brush us by with a couple showers. Dominica, 40% chance. But again, it would be generally on the brief side. Guadeloupe, 30 to 40% chance. And a 20 to 30% chance Antigua and Barbuda. 20 to 30% chance. St. Kitts, Nevis, Montserrat, and Anguilla, St. Bart's, a little bit lower, 10 to 20% chance. 20% chance today, tomorrow, and Friday, St. Martin, Saba, and Statia. And about a 20 to 30% chance the next couple days in Puerto Rico. May pop up a couple showers, maybe even a thunderstorm possible with the heating of the day. Isolated shower chance, U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Isolated in the Dominican Republic, and mainly dry and on the hot side across Haiti. Rain chance stays minimal in the Bahamas. 20 to 30% chance getting brushed by a couple showers. Turks and Caicos, Cuba, rain chance stays minimal. About a 10 to 20% chance the next 2 days in Belize. And on the warm side, same thing over toward the Yucatan of Mexico. Rain chance next to nothing in Aruba. May catch a shower if we're lucky. Aruba, Curacao, and even Bonaire, but it will be windy. Thank you for leaving me those comments yesterday about some of the gusty winds. Bermuda, watching out for a couple of fronts nearby, especially by tomorrow. 30, 40, 50% chance by Friday. Costa Rica and Panama, not all day, but the rain chance bumping up. Guyana, we're looking at about a 30% chance. 30 to 40% chance in Suriname, especially southern and eastern areas in Suriname. In northern Venezuela, about a 20% chance of a passing shower. So spotty showers possible. Watching out for the drought, the wildfire conditions that I was highlighting a few videos ago. Very warm water temperatures, relatively speaking, for this time of year, and I expect that to give us that very active hurricane season. But again, I will take it storm by storm with you and putting that on the back burner a bit. Hurricane season starts June 1st, but with the water temperatures, I do think we're going to get something spitting up before the hurricane season actually starts, maybe late April into May, and that's why I've been highlighting some of this for you. So thank you for sharing this information. I hope you're well. Thank you for liking the video, subscribing, and leaving the comments. I love going back and forth with you. I hope you have a great day ahead.